It's time for the Savor Food Podcast with Southwest Florida's favorite chef, Matt Geiger. Welcome back, listeners. Savor Food Podcast. Charlie McDermott, co-host, producer of the show, here with Chef Matt. Matt, how you doing today?
Doing great, Charlie. Had a good weekend. What about yourself?
Yeah, same. Had some fun Mother's Day celebrations and relaxation. And
you guys end up doing anything fun, or you just hang out?
You know, I took Barb out to get some plants and such. Planting. I don't know what you call them, vases, things that we put in the backyard,
pots.
And she got to watch me do all the work, which was different. Usually it's the other way around. So
my wife's all into that. You know, I can't grow anything. I love fresh herbs and fresh plants, but I can't grow anything. That's all in her wheelhouse.
Yeah.
So it's always like dirt.
The jury's still out. It's only been 24 hours. They still look green. So that's
okay, good. You're off to a good start. But we got some good news today. As what we mentioned in the last podcast is that there's a possibility of us winning Gulf Shore Life.
Yep.
And I think 48 hours after we did the podcast, they showed up to the kitchen to deliver our magazines, and in fact, we did win Gulf Shore Life Best Caterer in Lee County. So it's super good.
Cool.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, but with that comes a lot of other things, and I can't wait to thank the community and things like that.
Yeah.
But very excited that happened, and I can't thank everybody enough, because it is, you do vote and all that stuff. So you do kind of have to like ask people and everything, but
you've got lots of people to ask in your case.
Right.
And, there's two sides to that. There's the people that but word of mouth. I mean, you've been doing this for going on 4 years now?
Yeah, we're at 4 years. We started in January 2019. We went through that year, and then obviously, COVID hit to 2020, kind of knocked the wind out of our sails. But I mean, we're stronger than ever right now, and we're getting, we're in it. Our competitors are the top caterers in the area, and that's what we like. We don't like to see them as competitors either. I'm friends with a lot of them, and we ask questions to each other, and we have a good camaraderie. It's not like anybody's out to get one another, but definitely good.
Yeah. You can't be at every venue every weekend, right? It's
no way. And I wouldn't want to.
We're kind of like with that.
I love what I do, but I like keeping everything very very chill and very controllable, if that makes sense. But
you mentioned your relationships with other catering companies. I mean, you work with a lot of folks, obviously beyond catering companies. I mean, there's so many vendors. We were just talking about before we started the show, an event you just did that had 11 vendors.
A lot of vendors, and sometimes things get a little bit, maybe a little disorganized, just like anything would when you have a lot of people in the room trying to get one task done. But when we work with vendors, we have a lot of vendor friends, and we work with a lot of the same people over and over again, and there's a lot of teamwork, and a lot of the vendors that I work with, I have a very good relationship with, and we know what to expect from one another. Sometimes things, though, from a customer standpoint, if I could say, why, when you're booking your vendors, is kind of just know what their responsibilities, other than, what you hired them for, kind of know what their responsibilities are throughout the entirety of your event. You know what I mean? Because from a caterer standpoint, and I'm not complaining or anything like that. I just, we end up getting kind of the brunt of all the little extras, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, there's bartending services, and, while they do a good job in the bar, they rarely, leave the bar to pick up the cups and stuff like that. And again, a part of our job, it's just a part of being caterers and trying to do that. But, once you get more and more and more vendors around and it's our time to leave, you kind of just want to know what they're going to do for you other than, serve or give you rentals or take your pictures or, kind of what are they going to do to help the event go smoothly, and most vendors are great. Everybody kind of comes together and does what they need to make the event go smooth, but there are vendors out there that don't. And then it leaves it up to the vendors that will, I guess, go out of their way. With caterers, there's a lot of moving parts. We do drinks and food and rentals and staffing and, all this stuff. So usually we're the ones that have the bodies there. But, should you go, get food from me and then get food from 2 other vendors, and it doesn't really happen that much. But when it does, it's like, for that stuff to fall on one of the 3 food vendors kind of doesn't sit well long term with what everybody's trying to do, because everybody's trying to make your event go perfect. So I would just say, like, ahead of time, especially with food vendors, especially with anybody serving anything, whether it's drinks or desserts, because we get a lot of dessert vendors too that they do ice cream or gelato or espresso carts or anything. Clarify what they're going to do, because some people come and set up for an hour and leave, and some people come set up and then they want to join the fun and festivities, and it's like, that's not really what we're here to do. So and see what their cleanup is like. We obviously we're there the entirety of the event, but if there's other things around and we have to take care of it, sometimes for me, I get it, you just have to dig in and do it. But sometimes for the staff are questioning, like, well, why are we picking up after their stuff if they didn't get it from us? That's not right. That's not fair. So I don't know. It's just something to think about when you're booking everybody, especially when you have so many different personalities and all these vendors come from different backgrounds. Obviously, I'm not expecting photographers and stuff to go around and help move chairs and stuff. You know what I mean? But if you hired a rental company and didn't get your rentals through the catering company, and then want the catering company to move like the 300 chairs or whatever, just kind of take that into context. A lot of people won't do it. We do it because we want the event to go smooth. But then afterwards, we're like, we need to figure out how to either make it, charge for something like this without making the client feel that they're taken advantage of, but also make sure that we're not getting taken advantage of and my staff is happy at the event. Because ultimately, if you have happy staff at the event, your customers are also happy.
And this is so important. And again, for listeners, most of that Matt Savor Food covers the Southwest Florida area, Fort Myers, Naples, and so forth. But for folks listening who are looking at, a special event, in our case, we're looking at a wedding, and you bring up a great point, because the last thing you want to have happen, I mean, you're very professional, obviously, Matt, and even though you're doing someone else's job, really, you have to pay your staff to do someone else's job.
Right.
You make it happen, and
of course,
and you live and learn. But the worst case scenario, I'm sure this has happened, is that the venue, the event is impacted because there's maybe a battle going on behind the scenes or out in the open with vendors, and so you raise a really good point to make sure that you're aware of this and cover this when working with your vendors. Now, what our listeners and viewers may not realize is you do a lot of this in-house. You go beyond just the catering side, correct?
Yeah, we do. We have our full liquor license, so we can offer, all the bartending services. We do full staffing. We can offer all the staffing. We facilitate rentals, the outside of like big stuff like dance floors and stages and tents and things like that, or super specialty things. Some people want to hand pick everything, which is great. Usually I just send them directly to the rental company, but we facilitate all the rentals, flatware, glassware, silverware, plates, everything, linen napkins. I mean, we try to facilitate as much as possible in-house. And and a lot of that isn't really for us because we don't really make much on the rentals. We just want to make it easy for our client. Just cut down on just with the catering in general. If you were to have different vendors for everything, you'd have someone for food, someone for staff, someone for bar, someone for rentals, and we'd like you to be able to come to us for all of those things in one spot, and it makes the whole thing easier. Then we have a little control too. We know when everything's going to be there. We know who's going to be there, and we have our ways of doing things. And there's a couple venues around that, or actually there's one, I should say, that we just did recently, and they included all their staffing in the venue price, and it was a first for us. It was very kind of odd. And they were very nice, but we just realized we do things a certain way and we hold ourselves a certain way. And it's just, I think future, if somebody books there, we're not going to really allow it, because again, when we're ready to pass hors d'oeuvres, my staff's there ready to pass hors d'oeuvres. So if there's things that needs to be done or cleaned up, my staff's there ready to go. And not to say they weren't very nice, and they did what they thought because they worked for the venue. It just wasn't the standard and level that I'm used to running an event. So, I mean, there's lots of things in this industry, man. I think this is why I got attracted to catering in general, because it's not the same day to day. I was in restaurants for 12, 13 years, and I mean, I had fun there too, but it's the same thing day in, day out. Open, turn the stuff on, make the same menu, clean up, go home. And, catering has its challenges for sure. And it kind of keeps you on your toes. And I like that. I like having to figure things out. But I just want to make sure that, my staff and everybody's taken care of, and that your event's taken care of, and nobody at the end of the day is just kind of sucking it up, I think it's good to think about and to hold people accountable. I mean, obviously you've worked with us, and how we hold ourselves and how we do things, and not all vendors hold themselves to that standard, which is fine, but know that up front. It's important for the customer to know up front what to expect from the vendors that they're hiring, So,
well, and I'm sure this happens a lot, not in your case, but that the, whoever is responsible for paying the bill, they get an additional bill for the cleanup.
We don't really do that. We don't back bill at all, because I don't really want to open that door. I don't want to open the door for like $100 or $200 or $300 or something on a big $10,000 or $20,000 event and just put a sour taste in someone's mouth. I don't even want to open the door for that. So I've never to this day back billed anybody for anything. And I'd like to do that moving forward. And a lot of that has to do with staff hours and things. I know other caterers, I mean, they're really on it. I mean, they back bill like everybody, and I don't want to. It's done. It's said. I'm paid. Have a happy life. I don't want to open up.
The value again of what you're sharing is for listeners outside of this area who are working with companies that. I'm sure that happens all the time.
All the time.
Hey, your vendors kind of screwed up, and we're not covering for them. Here's the bill, right?
Right. It happens quite a bit.
In a battle with 2 or 3 other.
And see, I hate that. I don't like there to be. I want the whole process from beginning to end to after to be enjoyable to the customer. And it's very hard sometimes, and you know what? Some customers just aren't going to be happy no matter what you do. You know what I mean? You could give them the moon, but in general, we try to make the process smooth. We try to answer the questions that need to be answered. We try to point them in the right directions, even if it doesn't have to do with us. In the day of, I mean, if there was a catastrophe, our customer would never know.
Yeah.
because just how we handle things, and even after, once everything's said and done, nobody wants to see, there's nothing positive to come out of like an extra $200 bill like 2 weeks later after your event. Like,
Yeah. Yep.
Nobody's going to open that and go, oh, you know what? Yeah, there was a couple glasses broken or something,
Yeah,
nobody's going to do that. They're going to go, what the heck is this? The event was 2 weeks ago. We were already paid up. So I try my best not to do that, but to not do that, I have to just make sure everything's clear up front. And that's also what we really try to do here, is make things super clear up front, so, but I think that, I think that 99% of events are totally fine. I just think it's good education to see things from your helps side or your vendor side or the people that you're hiring. Look at things from their perspective every once in a while to give you kind of a better idea of how your event goes on your side.
Yep. Well, this is great, Matt, and you're right. It only happens minimal time, but the one time it does, even if over the course of a year, can that's one client that just can I use the leaves a bad taste in their mouth?
I don't like that.
Whatever vendor, and
right.
It's just because I'm sure it happens the other way that the other vendor picks up for the catering company because they aren't as professional as you guys. So this works, and
it has to do a lot with timing too.
Yeah.
Right. So if the catering's done at 8 and say your bar service goes till 11, then the venue's going to call the caterer and go, "Why'd you leave all this stuff?" It's like, well, we were only scheduled till 8. Mm-hmm. And they go, "Why were we only scheduled till 8?" It's like, because that's what the client asked us. That's what the client hired us to do. I can't, that's the same. There's so many moving parts to it, and I in 21 venues now, and it's great, and I'm glad that we're, people want us to be in their establishment, but it's a lot to take in, and to deal with and stuff like that.
So my takeaway from this is, one, work with an experienced catering company that has been in these venues before, so they've worked out any kinks, like you said, with staff that isn't theirs that you have to inherit for the event. And then 2 is try to work with a catering company that provides these services for you. Mm-hmm. 1, just to simplify things and save you time, and time is money, and then certainly a lot easier to control at that point.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's just better all around. I think that when you're getting into something, it's always just good to look at all avenues, all perspectives, because ultimately it's just going to make you better.
Yeah.
So I think this is really great. I think that having people listen to this podcast, which is something that kind of just came out of nowhere, I think that there's a lot of things people can learn and take away. And then even other vendors too, listening in, they're, I'm sure they have the same type of situations going on. And, anybody, I mean, I'm an open book. Anybody can call me anytime. We're constantly giving advice and how we should do things, or just asking questions. I mean, our community, local community, we have our own group on Facebook, and we're just constantly trying to be like, how do you guys do this? Or I have a person that's like this, what do you do in this situation? Trying to help each other out. It's very important for the community to help each other out. And we're proud to be a part of that.
Yeah. For listeners, for viewers who want to get in touch, want to learn more, Matt, go ahead and share your contact info.
Yeah. I mean, you can reach us through the website, saberfirstchoicecatering.com. There's a form on there. You can always email me personally at matt@saberfirstchoicecatering.com, or you just give us a call, 239-351-5547. We're available 5 days a week in the office, and on the weekends we're out doing events and stuff. So if we miss you on the weekend, we'll get you back Monday morning.
And the latest on the coffee shop, are we close?
Oh, man. So we are close. I mean, if you went in there, you'd say it was open. But
wow.
Lee County, we've done all of our final inspections. We're waiting on one inspection. That's the fire inspection. When that's going to happen, I've emailed, called. Hopefully it happens in the next couple days. And from there, we'll be able to occupy. So I'm thinking that in the next week or two, we'll be able to move into there. And then I'm thinking shortly after, a few weeks, we can open up and start serving up some coffee and pastries and all that stuff. Have people come in and see our catering kitchen, and very exciting. So excited. I just want it to be over, though. I just want the construction and everything to be over.
Move on.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, appreciate your helpful information today. Congrats again on the award, the best stuff.
Thank you.
And we'll talk in the next episode real soon.
All right. Thanks, Charlie. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Savor Food Podcast. To learn more about Savor First Choice Catering, go to savorfirstchoicecatering.com. That's Savor, SAVOUR, First, FIRST, Choice, CHOICE, Catering, CATERING.com, or call 239-351-5547.